Hi, and welcome back to another day with It's Never Too Late to Date. We've got a new day and a new beginning for dating after the age of 60. And today I get to tell you my story. And a lot of people ask me, well, what qualifies you to have a YouTube channel? And what qualifies you to give advice? And mine is all experience. And I have had a lot of friends come and talk to me after I met my guy David and asked me, what did you do to meet a new guy? I've been trying to meet somebody for years and years and years, and nothing's happened, and they get frustrated and they've given up on finding someone. And so I'm just here to tell you my story, give you some tips, some tricks, some ideas, or some things that I did. I didn't just meet David right away. I did go through a few dates. I went online, a couple different online places. And so here's my story. So back in 2012, got separated from my husband, and kind of just tootled around a little bit and made some mistakes, definitely, and got involved with somebody who was not available. And that didn't work out. Never does. Don't ever think that it will work out in your favor. So just don't go there. Then, after going through that, I waited a little bit, got to know myself a little bit better, and decided to go on online and do online dating. And I went through a couple different sites, and I won't name names, but I did end up in the end going on the site where you get to swipe right or swipe left. But before that, I went onto some other sites where I met a lot of different people. A lot of times I ended up getting contacted by people who were way far away from me. And communicate just a little bit. And after even just communicating a couple times, we'd end up with a guy telling me, oh, you're the perfect one for me. We were meant to be together and whatever. To me, that was definitely a red flag. And you should probably look at it that way too. Especially if you've never met them, you've maybe talked to them on the phone. But these guys, I had just been chatting back and forth. Never really talked to them. Didn't get a chance to hear their voice. Um, get a chance to see how sincere they were being. They were just trolling for women. And maybe with no intent really to ever meet, but just to fill a void in their lives for companionship. And so it's not that, a lot of people see that as, here we've got these guys that are just out there taking advantage of women and all of that. And it's some of them, yes, you're going to find that. But a lot of them are just lonely, and they're willing to talk back and forth as long as you don't try to meet them. Then once you say, hey, well, I think we've been talking long enough, let's meet, it turns out that they're really never intended to meet someone. Either they're not confident, or they're not who they say they are. So they're just making up a person and starting conversations. But I went through some of that, met some people actually locally, and my last site that I was on is where I met David, and it was one of those sites that I met a lot of really nice people on. And I've had other friends who have tried doing online dating, and they've maybe gone out on 2 dates and they've given up on it. Well, I went online and figured at least I could meet some friends. I could meet some new people, establish some new friendships, get to know some people. I didn't really go out looking, I didn't have anything to lose. I wasn't looking for a long-term relationship. I wasn't all serious about it. I just wanted to go out, meet some people, and have people to maybe go out to dinner with every once in a while, or go to a movie, or just a companion. And so that's the way that you want to start. I believe, that's just my advice, is to start out easy. Just go with the flow of it. And when you do that, something kicks in. I don't know how many of you believe in the law of attraction, but what you give out is what you get back. And if you're going out to relax and have a good time, you've got a good vibe to you, you've got a good relaxed vibe to you, you're going to get the same thing back from other people. And also, one of the things that I've noticed with other friends is that they'll say, well, I didn't like online dating. And then when you get talking with them, you figure out that they really never expected to get anything out of online dating. And usually you get what you expect. You figure out what your intention is and you put it out there, and that's what you're going to get. There's just no way around it. There's definitely goes along with the law of attraction. You get what you expect. So when I went out dating, I got what I expected. I met some great people. I had a good time dating, and then I got to make the choice as to what I was going to do from that point on. Once I met someone that I felt that I was compatible with, that I enjoyed spending time with, I didn't see any red flags as far as how they treated other people. And one clue that I've gotten is going out on a date with somebody that didn't know before, and you're at a restaurant, and you can tell a lot by how they treat the wait staff and what their expectations are. And so I kind of watch for that type of thing. Another thing is, as you get to time to pay, that's always a big thing. And I have a lot of my friends who feel like the man should always pay, and it's not always the case, especially if you initiate the date. And also, it just depends on the situation. Believe me, guys have been through some things with women over the years, with women's liberation, etc., and they really don't know how to act at times and what to do. And sometimes they'll say, well, I'm paying, and the woman would get offended by that. Don't think I can pay for my own meal. So that's how a lot of people, especially men that are over 60, they've seen it. They've been married for years, have not been out in the dating scene for a while. So they really don't know what to expect or what's expected of them. So I met after going out with I'd say I went on more than 7 dates, but dates with 7 different people on the site that I met David on. And I had a great time with it, loved it, never felt threatened, never felt unsafe. And when I met David, we talked a little bit online. We exchanged phone numbers, texted for a while, talked on the phone, and then we decided to meet. And it was just a matter of probably 2 weeks of chatting before we decided to go ahead and meet and have a glass of wine at a local place. And the app that I used, I really liked it because it told you how close you were to that person as far as miles away. And so we were in the same general area, so it was easy to pick a place to meet. And I got there a little bit early. I was hungry because I worked right around the corner from the place that we were gonna meet at. And so I decided to get there and order a salad for myself, and I was there eating when David got there. And so he sat down, we chatted a little bit, he ordered some wine, and I ordered a glass of wine when he got there. And before we knew it, a couple hours had passed, and we were there, and the only people there. And so the wait staff came up and told us that, you guys can stay as long as you want, just, be aware that we're in the process of closing. And so that was one thing that really stood out for me as we talked, and we talked easily. We're comfortable with each other. But during our conversation, the thing that came out the most to me was that how it flowed. and how he asked questions about me and what I liked to do, and I asked questions about him, and that's how the flow began. Turned out we were both liked hiking. Found out he was into photography, and both of us were pretty active people. And at that time that we met, I was 59 years old at the time, almost 60. And a lot of people feel like, wow, that's, you're getting up there in age, and do you really want to start dating again? Well, I felt like, I've got a lot of years left. I would like to, if not finding a long-term companion, at least have some good friends that were there to go and do things with. Companionship, is the main thing. And so once I met David, I went out with a couple other guys, same thing, and I decided to reach out to David. He worked 2 jobs at the time, and didn't have a lot of time, and I was going to be leaving the country for a couple weeks, and so I decided, well, I'd like to see him before I left. And a lot of my friends would go, well, wait, you should wait for him to call you. You should wait for him to reach out. Don't act too, don't put your whole thing out there that you're interested in him. Let him come to you. And, you've got to play each case differently. Each situation is different. So don't expect that everything is going to always be that way. So I knew I was leaving. I figured, didn't know whether he remembered that or not, but one thing I did remember is that he liked to go and do karaoke on Thursday nights. And so I was leaving, actually Wednesday nights, and I was going to be leaving late Wednesday night to head to Guatemala to do some volunteer work. And so I reached out to him and said, hey, are you going to karaoke? I'd love to see you before I take off. And right away, I got a text back saying, oh yeah, I would love to get together. I forgot you were leaving. Let's do it. And we picked a date. And it actually turned out to be, I was leaving on a red eye on a Wednesday night to go to Guatemala. And we actually got together that day earlier, went and did karaoke. He dropped me back off at my place. I drove my car up to the airport and headed out from there. But I reached out to him, and it all worked out. And from that point on, we just gradually started spending a lot of time together, and eventually ended up moving in together. And that's my story. And basically, I feel that I got what I expected, and that's how the law of attraction works. You get what you expect. And if you're not having really good expectations about dating, you need to spend some time and figure out why. And one of the sites that I watched a bit on YouTube that just recently, actually, I just found it recently, and I think it will help a lot of people. And it's a site called Becoming Me. And I can't remember her name, but she talks about how she changed her life after the age of 60. And I'm 70 now. I met David over, it's going to be 10 years in next May in 2025. And over the years, I have gone through pretty much what she talks about in her videos, and really delving into the law of attraction and, as far as a higher power, and how what you put out is what you receive. Your intentions are everything. Your words that you say to yourself are everything. And so a lot of people are always saying every day, I'll never find anybody. Why is it so hard to find a man? Why is it blah, blah, blah? Same thing, men do the same thing. So you've got to figure out, if you're negative on the subject of dating, figure out why that is, and just be aware of the things that you say in your head on a daily basis. and work on changing that. But in the meantime, check out the site on YouTube called Becoming Me. And she just talks about how she used the law of attraction to turn her life around years ago. And that's same. My story is very similar to hers as far as the law of attraction goes. And so I think you'll get a lot out of that. And so that's it for my story for now. And in some of my future videos, I'll be talking about once David and I got together, how things are different now or through our growing together than things were when I first got together with my ex-husband and raising kids and all that. It's a whole different life now. You've got a lot of freedom and a lot of different types of choices to make. So until next time, if you have any questions, please write them in the comment section. I'm working on growing this channel to bring you content that I think will help you as you're getting back out in the dating world. If you're over 60 or even over 50, and some things that might help. My experience hopefully is something that you can use to just kind of create a dating experience that's successful and not one that you get frustrated with. And be sure to like and subscribe so I can continue to bring you more content.